President Trump is due back in court this morning, a day after the judge in his criminal hush money trial denied a second motion for a mistrial. Adult film actress Stormy Daniels took the stand for a second day of detailed testimony about her alleged sexual encounter and payout from Mr. Trump. The former president called Judge Juan Merchan corrupt and conflicted as he was leaving court. NewsNation senior correspondent Laura Ingle is live from Lower Manhattan with the latest. Laura, there were more fireworks in that courtroom Thursday, and can we expect more of that today?
You know, here's the thing about this trial, Nick. We just never know what's going to happen because that witness list is protected by the prosecution. They never tell us who it is. That's why it was a surprise the day Stormy Daniels was called. So anything could happen today. And as we say in the business, it's always on a Friday, right? Big things happen on Friday, so we'll see what happens here. We are expected to continue with some inner workings with some other witnesses that we had on the stand yesterday, people that work in Trump's circle. But day two of Stormy Daniels on the stand was really the headline of yesterday. This was testimony that was extremely combative at times with the defense team as they continued to push on Daniels, talking about if she, in fact, was making things up, if she was all in it for the money. And she shot back at the defense team, saying false, saying no, and we could see more of that kind of testimony today, depending on who is on the witness stand. We will have to wait and see, as we said. As you look at some of those sketches and what happened here with Trump yesterday, they did ask for a mistrial after all of the graphic testimony ended of Stormy Daniels. The defense did, which the judge did deny. The former president's legal team also asked the judge to revise the gag order so that he could respond to the alleged intimate details shared in court that everyone agreed went too far. Daniels' granular tale of the alleged sexual tryst with Mr. Trump, they argue, has caused irreversible damage. At the end of the day, the judge went back and reviewed the testimony, the transcripts, and previous rulings on her testimony, denying that request, and blamed the defense for not objecting more often to stop those details from coming out. Now, according to reports, the prosecution's star witness in the case, Trump's former lawyer and so-called fixer, Michael Cohen, could possibly take the stand as soon as next week, maybe even Monday. Jurors will also have to decide his credibility as a self-admitted liar and a felon who will tell the court how he was directed to pay Stormy Daniels $130,000 at the direction of Mr. Trump to keep her quiet before the 2016 election. Those are the allegations, also to improve his chances of winning. Now, outside the trial, we are hearing from another former adult film actress, a friend of Stormy Daniels, who was in Lake Tahoe at the time of this alleged encounter with Trump and Stormy Daniels. She talked with Elizabeth Vargas last night about being invited to join Trump and Daniels the night in question.
Do you have any idea if you'll be called as a corroborating witness to confirm her testimony in real time?
I've been asked this many times at this point, especially since I was mentioned during the questioning. I'm not really sure, so I guess we'll see what happens.
All right, one important note for the defense. Daniels testified that she never spoke with Trump directly about the $130,000 she received from his then lawyer, Michael Cohen, to keep quiet, and has no knowledge of whether Trump was aware of or involved in the transaction. Once off the stand, we had a handful of other witnesses, as I mentioned, including a bookkeeper for the Trump organization who talked about how they cut checks, which is an important part of where the money went and when. Now, Trump has long denied these allegations. Yesterday after court, when we had these motions hearings, he left the court pretty angry, kind of yelling at reporters, saying, "I'm innocent." So we always wait to see what he's going to say. Of course, he's walking that thin line with the gag order that's in place, with jail time being threatened if he violates it again. So here we wait on this Friday as we prepare to get into another week next week, which could be a big one, possibly with Michael Cohen. Nick?
Laura Ingle live for us this morning from Lower Manhattan. Laura, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.